So for today's video, I do want to speak about the injured players and the players that are not expected to be in the preseason under Hansi Flick. There has been many players in the past 2 weeks that have encountered injuries, and one of them is Ronald Araujo. It says here, according to Javi Miguel, that there are negative feelings around Araujo's injury, with the time off expected to be around 6 to 8 weeks. So this is very concerning for a team like Uruguay, because Uruguay will be facing Colombia in the semifinals, and it's not going to be an easy game. Colombia just came off of a 5-0 win over Panama, so Colombia are going to be coming in with maximum positive momentum. But I believe that it's going to be even more concerning for a team like Barcelona. They will be losing a very important center back. Now, he will be missing the first 2 preseason games if he is out for 8 weeks, and those 2 games will be against Man City and against Real Madrid. And it is important for our main players to go through these preseason games so they can go into this season in good flow. Araujo needs these games against City and Madrid because he does need his time under Hansi Flick, and Hansi Flick is going to be incorporating a whole new different system. Now, I'm not going to lie, part of me is a little excited about Araujo going out for 8 weeks, and not because of the player himself and I have an agenda against Ronald Araujo, but mainly because this could give an opportunity to someone like Mikayil Faye, a player that was supposed to go to Porto 2 weeks ago, but he is going to be continuing at Barcelona, and Mika Faye can come in for Araujo's absence, and it would allow for him to gain the opportunities to showcase who he is as a center back or as a left back under Hansi Flick. And Hansi Flick does trust the player. He wants him in the preseason. So with Araujo going out, Mika Faye could get even more minutes. It might be one of those situations where one of our youngsters might finally arrive only because a player in his position was injured, which in this case is Ronald Araujo. So hopefully, right, in the preseason, maybe against City or against AC Milan or against Real Madrid, we get to see a defensive line of Hector Fort, Faye, Kubarsi, and Balde, a very young defensive line. I believe that a center back duo of Faye and Kubarsi can go very far. So moving on from that, I also want to speak about another player that is injured, and that is Pedri. Pedri is set to be out of action for around a month after sustaining an injury against Germany 2 days ago. So when I saw Pedri come out early in the game against Germany, like literally on the 8th minute, I was so pissed, right? And not because of the injury, right, itself, but because of how he got it and who did it to him. Toni Kroos, a player who is supposed to be considered as a class player, right? A player that nobody hates, supposedly, hit Pedri on the knee so hard it forced Pedri to come out of the game early. And Spain were building momentum through the tournament. Like, the main 3 players that De La Fuente really wanted to protect was Pedri, Lamine Yamal, and Nico Williams. And now Pedri is out for the whole tournament. He will not be returning. And we wanted to see Pedri blossom in the Spanish national team and hopefully win his first Euro with the squad. But that is not going to be happening. Pedri is now out. Kroos is going to be leaving football in the worst way possible by not winning the Euros with the German national team, also giving Pedri a horrible injury that made so many people hate him. And now it is what it is, right? Spain in the end went to the semifinals of the Euros. Now they're gonna have to face France, which is going to be an awesome game. I cannot wait to see Koundé go up against Nico Williams. It's just unfortunate to see that Pedri cannot partake in that match. I really did like the game between Spain and Germany. It was very close. It should have been a final game, but in the end it was amazing. Yamal had another assist and almost scored the goal, and then we did have Mikel Merino scoring the header and making it 2-1 and won the match. So besides that, and looking into the future, with Pedri going out, I don't know when he's actually going to be returning, but for sure in the first 2 games, which is against City and against Real Madrid, he will not be there. This would allow for a few opportunities for someone like Ronald Araujo, because when we do speak about Gundogan and Fermin Lopez most likely will be in the Olympics. Gundogan is also going to be needing some rest. So in terms of like finding other 10s to be playing in the 4-2-3-1 system, Ronald Araujo might see some chances. Moving on towards the next player, and that is Gavi. Gavi is expected to return to group training in about 2 months, meaning that around September 7th, we should see him with the whole team. And it's going to be so interesting to see what role or position Hansi Flick is going to give him. Like, if he does start, right, because we don't know right now whether he's going to be a starter or not, where is he going to play? For sure, I think that Gavi is a Hansi Flick type of player because of his strengths, because of his perseverance. He's physical, he presses well, he does counter press well, he's very aggressive. And honestly, I don't see Hansi Flick saying, you know, I would have Gavi as a winger, very similar to what Xavi did with Gavi during his time. So I don't see Gavi going there because Hansi Flick wants wingers who have pace, who have speed and agility. Players like Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, and Nico Williams can give you that. So Gavi will for sure not see the left wing position. And I do have trouble seeing him as a number 10 because in our number 10 spot within the 4-2-3-1 system, Gundogan, Pedri, and Fermin Lopez do play there. There's too many options. Gavi has no chance. The only way I can see Hansi Flick start the player and utilize him well would be to put him as one of the 6s in the double pivot position. So it can either either be Frenkie and Gavi or Mikel Merino and Gavi. Trust me, when it comes to Mikel Merino, we will be talking about that player in a separate video because there has been some massive updates on the player. So overall, let's look at the absent players for the start of the preseason. Gavi, Pedri, and Araujo are not going to be there because they will be injured. Pau Cubarsí, Eric Garcia, and Fermin Lopez, they're currently not injured. They're going to be at the Olympics. Balde and Frenkie, though, they're going to be okay. They are going to be just returning from injury, so we should see them very soon. As for Koundé, Lamine Yamal, and Ferran Torres, they're still going to be at the Euros. I think that they're also going to be very tired, so even if they get knocked out tomorrow, they need time, right? They do need a lot of time to recover because they have played so many games, especially Jules Koundé. As for Rafinha, Gundogan, Christensen, and Lewandowski, they should all be back for sure because they have been knocked out already. They're currently getting some rest, and so we should see them in the preseason. So now lastly, I do want to speak about the last player, and that is going to be Maxi Araujo. That is his nickname. His real name is Maximiliano. So for now, we're just going to call him Maxi. So this is a Uruguayan player that has just emerged to the scenes. It says here that Barcelona alongside Atletico Madrid are closely following Maxi Araujo, and the Barcelona director Deco has asked the club scouts for a report on the player. However, there is no formal offer as of now. The situation is far from there at this stage. So if you guys do not know who this player is, he is a 24-year-old player, left winger, who is also left-footed, and he can play as a left back and as a left midfielder. But the Uruguayan national team right now are using him as a left winger, and he has been very effective. He currently does also represent Toluca and plays in first division Mexican football. He has had an amazing tournament so far in the Copa America. He scored a goal against Panama. He also provided a goal and provided an assist against Bolivia, and he was named as the MVP. In the game against the US, he did go through a very scary injury. Apparently, he did lose consciousness on the field because he hit his head on the ground really hard, but then eventually, after he woke back up, he took his neck brace off and wanted to play again, and he did continue to play. So Bielsa, who is the coach of the Uruguayan national team, he does see him as a key part to the Uruguayans attack, and as you can see on the heat map on what he has been doing, you can see that he does provide a lot defensively, and he goes down a lot to help his team. So I do see him as a very decent player. I don't see him as a top priority. Most likely they see him as a backup to one of our left wingers in case we don't go for either, whether it could be Xavi Simons or it could be some other player that Barcelona are looking for. This is going to be another option. He had 7 goal contributions in 2,300 minutes, which is really not that bad. Keep in mind that another player that has came through the Mexican league was Guido Rodriguez, who currently does play in Real Betis, and he was also being eyed by Xavi Hernandez's FC Barcelona at one point. And Guido Rodriguez left from America to go to Real Betis at the age of 25, 26 years old, around the same age of Maxi Araujo. And now Guido Rodriguez is considered as one of the best players in La Liga. So this transition from the Mexican league to the Spanish league could be very smooth if they put in the work. And someone like Maxi Araujo can go very far if he does get called in by FC Barcelona. He just needs to continue to show why he is a special player to Uruguay and continue to excel in the Copa America. Their next game is going to be against Colombia, and we'll see how he does play in that match. And so that is it. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.